without attempting the futile task of defending ridiculous and deceptive CNN. I simply rise to consider the logic of what's being proffered here. I guess the argument is, if a host of any particular venue, a national news show, a radio show, a college frat party, a family dinner, a corporate boardroom, whatever, decides, right or wrong, ubersensitive or just adhering to the particular establishment's norms, that certain speech is not, or may not, be acceptable in said venue, and then opt to question such perceived infraction of the supposed norm, letting alone the point that no one is punished, fined, harmed or jailed, then that is evidence of an infraction of or at least a disdain for free speech and the First Amendment. Hasn't anyone bothered reading down through the myriad, enormous, threads on countless tweets, posts, articles and videos like this one far enough to get to that usually single, solo bloke or gal who dusts off the old cogito cap, stretches their brain fingers and sets about penning an actual argument which delineates the details of a refutation to the outrage-born pseudo-position being foisted upon a lazy viewership only too eager to have their own, naturally existing, biases and knee-jerk tendencies reinforced and normalized via the wonderfully liberating gift of another YouTube listen-to-meer who got the gumption up to make a video. Yeah, that was a question, at long last. I'm not saying, dear reader, that the present writer is said solo bloke or gal herein bequeathing to you that very same enlightenment. I'm just asking, have you never read such things? They're out there, here and, at the risk of sounding repetitive, there. The crux of such a public aid, uniquely flowing from private to public, as it were, and thusly deemed laudable amongst the bootstrap bozos who wish to imprison imaginative humanity in the ethical confines of a caveman's social and economic mobility. He who grabs the club first owns the club, will hinge on something along the lines of, the first goddamned motherfucking amendment guarantees the right to not be silenced by the completely out-of-control government, which by the way is not unaccountable, but absolutely unaccountable to the public who put them there. Read, not, and it's, who do we serve? Ah, ha 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 ha! Police state minions. Okay. Got carried away, not like, carried away. Thank you very much. As high school proms everywhere breathe a collective sigh of relief. But you see, dear readers, we are not here to push back against the disdain of your churchy mama, who slaps your cheek when you utter the F-word at the table, nor, as much as we'd like to, the prerogative of your craven, weak-willed dollar whore boss, who fires your ass because of your high-heart-burning window decal. I like Ike would be fine, he says, reminiscing about the good old days when the very guy who warned us about the coming doom of the all-encroaching MIC, aka military insidious crap house, or what my sneaky, first-hating autocorrect would have let me write, was, in fact, the same prez who also allowed and indeed pushed for the sorts of expansions of power that actually necessitated his befuddling parting shot across the bowl remarks when leaving office. That is his warning to the nation that fell on leaden ears already deafened by decades of dastardly deceitful disinformation drummed up by dubious dudes like nephew of Freud, and likely in top 5 most influential, but largely unknown assholes category, Edward Barnyard Bernays, sorry sometimes I dig autocorrects F-ups, or Walter Lippmann. That is to say, yes, your right to work state boss can fire you for your free speech. But no, The First Amendment isn't about what mom can manipulate you into shutting up about, nor whether the movie theater can jail you for shouting fire during Spider-Man: Homecoming. Actually, no, it is about that. See 1919 single quote S. Shank v. United States, and it's certainly not about preventing some overly pretentious network news TV anchor calling out her guest for venturing into oddly provocative dialogue, calculatedly intent on eliciting the very reaction we're all here incessantly blabbing on and on and on and on. Or is it just me? About CNN is *debatedly* not the government. It is * reportedly, no pun intended * a private corporation, something to which all y'all snowflake dissing, all hail the conquering CEO get it jobbers blindly defer, even to the point, long ago, where our democracy, it's a republic, asshole. I know, morphed into a corporatocracy with teeth. And as such, CNN being a private corporation, ding ding, is anyone listening? Is this thing on? Is it dawning on you why corporate anything should be kept at more than an arm's length away with regard to the public commonwealth? Profit is great, grand, excellent. As an incentive to better that mousetrap, make shinier that sports car. But not as a motive when making decisions about the good of the public, life and death issues, health, war, science, truth. Oh yes, as such, CNN has no legal, First Amendment obligation to allow any and all forms of speech, slick willy-nilly or otherwise, just because said hoo-ha sports jock with a bold soul, steeled in the furnace like fires of the raucous cacophony that is sports radio, is bold enough to use his pre-understood to be one, and only shot on the boob tube. Yes, I said it. Boob. Sue me, YouTube. You jujube-chewing fistifells of modern mind magic and masterful meme maker of the Mandela effect. Wait, I swear that used to be spelled Mandela. His big chance on the national, unmute news. Okay fine, sure he's likely been on many times. Who cares? It makes little difference to the overall gist of this universally abandoned at this point comment to utter the word boob at the female anchor. But if Skull and Bones, the government told him to shut it, now that's some first a violatin' going on. So, please, quit making videos decrying some ninny's speech getting stultified by what legally equates to nothing more than father-shaming you for wanting to join the Air Force rather than the Marines. It's all legal, and none of which a violation of La Primera Enmienda, that's the First Amendment. My ubiquitous and unilingual America fisters, farsters. Damn you, autocorrect. Which, however, implies there is a second. What's the second, people? Israel's second? Now, that's a hat seller. Whether it's Berkeley townsfolk turning out to shame Milo into shutting up, or Lynchburg nuts at Liberty crying not about free speech being silenced but about it being compelled, as in, you will attend the Ted Cruz rally, which will convey support. It's all good, as long as it's not the government doing the compelling, right? I think it's an appropriate juncture to express this bit of eloquent speech. Therein lies the rub. Or as the less handy with the lingo Shakespeare actually put it, there's the rub. The rub is this. Social pressures have always and will always shape the limits of discourse, but not by force backed up by threat of violent fine or imprisonment, other than being sent your room. perhaps, or getting fired, or being asked to exit the lounge at the country club. That is to be expected and dealt with socially. Freedom of speech should only be shouted out when those with real power, government, police, military, are putting the squelch on. And there, you have it. But if that just seems a little too facile for you, and somewhere down in your shivering soul a little trembling bird is meekly squeaking something about, but it just doesn't feel right, it really does feel like the people's speech is being unjustly muted. Well, maybe it's time to reconsider our understanding of the actual boundaries between government and power and corporations and organizations and wealth. Perhaps it's high time we update the public mind. Get savvy to the fact that the powers that be have left us all in the dust and are eons ahead. In fact, just as in science and high-tech, where the average educated idiot has absolutely zero idea just how far beyond, atoms and protons and, quarks, yeah, the whole edifice of knowledge has grown. The same goes for the science of mass manipulation and public control. Ever hear the phrase, manufacturing consent? That was Walter Lippmann long before it was Chomsky. They have been successfully pulling the wool over our eyes for hundreds of years, and have been spending untold billions, if not trillions, on updating their knowledge base. Again, Edward Bernays was like, I don't know, Newton. And the science of control is being continually updated, theorized about, experimented with. Remember when Facebook got outed for that giant psych test? And documented. So, yeah, nice and easy traditional lines dividing public and private have gone bye-bye a while ago. Instead of continuing to let them operate under centuries-old definitions of such things, whereby they can run amok, so to speak, without us raising a stink, we should update the nomenclature. Just like Orwell's maxim that he who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. So also, they who control the definitions, control the language, and thereby control the mind, which is all that's needed for total control. I think it was the big news Brzezinski who said that. I jest. With that, goodbye. Be vigilant, ye breeders. Asterisk tips his trike.
Israel, and Russia is attacking Israel, and we see in the scriptures that their flesh melts off their body, according to the scripture.